On this episode, we watched a movie where the best Nicolas Cage performance was given by John Travolta. We watched Face Off, and you're listening to Geeked Out.
Popcorn in our hands, ready for the show. From the classics to the blockbusters, we're always in the know. Throwing references like confetti, we keep it real. Geeked Out Podcast, we make you feel. We're the critics you can trust.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Geeked Out. My name is Kyle.
And I'm Juan.
And as we delve into this now being the third film in our character duo miniseries, it was my pick, and I chose the 1997, what I call action classic, Face Off. Now, this is a movie that I have seen. Oh God, I've lost count how many times I've seen this movie.
Really?
How about you? Was this a staple for you growing up? Dude, me and my friends, if we wanted to sit down and watch, oddly enough, they were both Nick Cage movies. It was like our big action movies in the late 90s was this and The Rock.
Really?
Yeah.
See, like both my parents are really into movies. Like, or so my father, my mom too. But they never watched those movies, so I really didn't get a chance to watch those growing up. And if I did, I'd catch them on TV. Like I'd catch it on TV, and that's how I watched this movie through like broken. I would watch like one half of it, or like a quarter of it, brokenly, not
So
throughout, but
was
on
this your
TV.
first time?
Yeah, just
Wow.
watching it, like yeah,
Yeah. See, my parents, my dad as well. They're into movies too, but a lot of times when it comes, for some reason, my parents have this weird obsession with Steven Seagal, and
as
I've
a
never,
lot of other families.
I've
He's
never been
popular.
a Steven Seagal fan. But those are their kind of crappy action movies, and I guess the Nick Cage versions are my crappy action movies.
Okay, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, this movie came out in 97. I probably saw this in 97 or 98, so I've been 11 or 12. Definitely too young to see this movie, but
This one in particular, yeah, but
it
you know,
fucking did some things.
during these times, being 10 or under, and they would
Well, and
they
this
didn't
would
care
have
as
been
long
the
as it
time
didn't have
right
any
around
dirty
when,
scenes.
like,
And even then, a lot of our parents told us to close their eyes. Sorry.
well, this would have been the time when. So again, we were 12, 13, and again, it was a different time back then. So like, we would be able to go to our friend's house on our bikes. We all had our own Blockbuster card because you didn't need like a driver's license or anything like that. At least in the 90s, you didn't. So we would just hop on our bikes and we would go there. And a lot of these movies, yeah, they're quote unquote rated R, but unless it was something really, really bad, the clerks would they'd be like, yeah, you kids you're going to get your hands on this one way or another, so
Yeah,
I'll just
depending
let
on
you guys
yeah.
rent it. So, like, we would rent things like this. We would rent The Rock. We would rent Terminator, like things that we probably shouldn't have been watching at that age. But, I mean,
Nothing like
again,
you weren't trying to rent something that was like clearly nothing but
no, it's
sex,
not. It's not like there was
like
a
striptease,
back room where there was like porn that you could rent, but
or even like striptease, or one of those ones that are not necessarily like X-rated, but
no, we
one
just
that at
wanted
least
fucking to watch shit
surrounding
blow
itself
up.
by. Yeah, yeah. So I'm sure the people running it, the clerks, they didn't care.
And I mean, when you think about it, the people who would work there
No
were,
harm.
for the most part, were high school kids who they were just there to get a quick paycheck, and they didn't really care what kids were. I mean, unless you were like a 6-year-old kid coming up and trying to rent Face Off, they're like, yeah, here, enjoy the movie, have a good night.
Yeah. And most of those guys, they probably already watched the movie, so they know what's in it, so they know really who to. They know
Yeah.
it's no harm if they gave it to an
I mean,
R-rated film.
I know a good friend of mine who was watching The Godfather when he was like 8 years old. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching like Scarface when I was like, I was like probably around 10
Yeah,
around there. Like I remember the VHS. The VHS was like two or three tapes, I believe.
yeah. See,
It was
the
big.
things that my dad showed me that was inappropriate, I would say, for my age, was more comedies than action or movies like that. Like, he would show me all the Mel Brooks movies. He showed me Animal House, Caddyshack, Airplane, all those types of things when I was
Wild.
probably 10 years old, 12 years old. So,
There's some wild things in some of those, especially Animal House.
well,
It's like
there was stuff that I wouldn't quite
wild shit.
understand, and yet my dad is just cackling to himself. And so my brother and I would just start laughing because we're like, oh, it must be funny, not understanding half of the jokes that are going on.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, I was definitely guilty of that too with some movies. Sang the lines out loud because people laughed, and they only laughed harder when I said it because I was a kid and I didn't know what the hell
Yeah.
I was saying. Yeah.
Yep. Well, let's get into this movie. So, as I said, we watched Face Off. This movie originally was released June
Oh yeah.
27th of 1997. On a budget of $80 million, it had a box office worldwide return of $245.6 million.
That's
It, cur-
crazy.
it currently sits at 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb. The critics, the tomato meter, the critics gave this a 93%.
The critics?
The critics,
Oh,
93. And the popcorn meter, the
all
audience,
right.
only gave it an 82.
That's an eyebrow raiser right
I
there.
I thought, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love this movie.
How?
This is definitely not the type of movie that I thought film critics of the world or even of North America would be giving a
Man,
93.
I think because it's the John Woo effect, man. When certain directors have like a name, for some reason, man, a lot of their movies that they get a higher rating than they should. I think this is just, I don't understand why this movie has that rating on. That's unbelievable. To be
I mean,
honest, that's crazy.
I feel
That's
like I
crazy.
had to I feel like I had to refresh the page on Rotten Tomatoes multiple times to be like, am I reading this right?
Is Rotten Tomatoes like Wikipedia? Can you just type in whatever you want? Like,
I don't think so.
no, it's not at all. But if I'm starting to question Rotten Tomatoes credibility there. That's holy shit. All right.
Well, as you said there, it was directed by John Woo. The movie was written by Mike Werb and Michael Kaleri. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. Starring, obviously, John Travolta, Nicolas Cage, Joan Allen, Alessandro Nicola, and Gina Gershon. To foil a terrorist plot, an FBI agent assumes the identity of the criminal who murdered his son via facial transplant. I can't say it without laughing. Via facial transplant surgery, but the crook wakes up prematurely and vows revenge.
Yeah.
So the opening of this movie, where you get to see him actually kill his son, number one,
Oh.
the slow motion that starts this movie, it doesn't need to be done this way.
And so often in this movie,
It
there's
is.
just random these edits where it'll just be slow motion. It's
Yeah.
scattered throughout this movie, and every single time it's unnecessary.
Now, I will say, in the beginning of this movie, I gotta say that is a pretty stylish mustache that Nicolas Cage is rocking, and I
to
don't know
let you
if
know
I've
he's in the past.
I don't know if I've ever seen somebody take a drink out of a straw in a more delicate way. It's so funny that he's laying down next to a sniper rifle, and he's just got a Coke like he got it at the concession stand at the fair.
Yeah, ready to cap some fools.
I will say that when so obviously he's trying to kill John Travolta, who's Sean Archer. We'll get into those names in a little bit. Um,
Mhm.
and he shoots him in the back. It goes through, hits his son in the head, and kills him.
Yeah,
Every time since I
tragic.
was every time since I was a little kid that I watched this movie, I'm like, if you're using a scope, why not aim for his head? Because it genuinely looks, once he realizes that the kid is dead, Nicolas Cage genuinely looks like he feels bad, like he feels guilty. He didn't mean to kill him. I mean,
Right.
he has that
And
look for about half a second, but
if you know his character, you okay. Doesn't make sense that he would feel that bad, but it was for a half a second, so we can go with it.
well, no, because the next time you see him, he's planting a bomb dressed as a priest, and he's like sexually assaulting a
Oh,
college student.
as a priest, which has so many other m meanings and layers to it, that's all fucked up. And the face he makes when he grabs it, and
Oh,
it's like,
dude.
it's so wrong. It's memeable. I'm glad it's in here. I'm glad we have it so we can meme it for all time. The
this
context of the scene, it's like, buddy, what is going on? Does she know you? Why?
the,
What's that? Why'd you do this? What's going on?
the
This is
amount of just straight Nick Cage being Nick Cage in this movie might be the the biggest one of his career. Like
his range, his
and it's
range of emotion.
both him who does it, and then later Travolta who does it too, which I would argue might be almost better.
Yeah, when it comes to who played who better, John Travolta definitely played a better Nick Cage.
Well, because the problem is when you look at the character dichotomy, John Travolta is just a typical FBI agent who has a grudge, who wants to get his man and will do whatever he'll stop at nothing in order to achieve it. Castor Troy, on the other hand, he's just they call him I think they call him a terrorist for hire. Like he's like the Joker. Like
Hmm.
he has zero morals, um, zero care for what he does or who he's going to affect. Like essentially, when he plants the bomb in the LA Convention Center at the beginning, you find out that it's supposed to go off however many days later because there's going to be like I forget it's like three world leaders or something like that, but it's also a chemical weapon that's probably going to take out 3 to 4 square miles of the city. So like
Yeah.
he doesn't care what the collateral damage is. He's just off his fucking rocker.
Yeah, he just wants to see the world burn. And they established that pretty early on, that that's the type of character he is.
But I mean, right off the bat for this, when so you get the death of Travolta's son, and then it rapidly goes to 6 years later, and the FBI they're like, okay, we got this info on Castor Troy, we're going to go get him. Now, of course, I have no inner workings of police or FBI or anything like that. There is, but according to what movies and TV shows and whatnot I have ever seen, there is no way that Sean Archer would be on the case of the man who murdered his
No!
child.
He would be off immediately. Like, it was a conflict of interest.
Oh, There's no
No,
way.
you wouldn't be able to touch that case with a 10-foot pole. You would be put on leave until you are mentally ready. Like there'd be a whole psych evaluation and shit. And it doesn't seem like mentally he should be working there because he's like totally shut out, you know what I mean,
Well, and
from the world because he's too
not
into the
only is
case.
he
He's too into
working it, he's the head of the team who's working this case.
it. That's insane. That's insane.
Like
No. No, 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 no. But, you know,
now,
logic.
the
If you're gonna bring that in, you're gonna we'll be here all day.
well, yeah, but I mean the way that they even show the character. So he's like in the office, and he's got to answer to all these bureaucrats, and I got to get approval to do this, and I got to get approval. And then you just see the Nicolas Cage slow motion exiting the car at the airport. They put his new jacket on, his sunglasses. He's got his two golden guns. Like everything is opulence for this man. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I will say,
Much
when I
like
was a
that
kid,
show.
that fucking dragon money clip, that thing's badass.
Yeah, I forget what it looked like, but yeah, it's and just the way he, plays around with giving the guy the money and all that. It's
Well,
entertaining.
did you happen to notice who that guy is?
Maybe I didn't write it down.
So the guy he's one of his henchmen. He's actually the guy who he goes to give the money clip to is a young Tommy Flanagan. If you know who that is, he was in Sons of Anarchies, and he was in The Departed. He's the guy who I believe he was in Boondock Saints. He's the guy who has the scars from the action. He had the Glasgow smile.
Oh, I see. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, that's a very young Tommy Flanagan.
He's towards the end of the movie too.
Yep, he's one of his henchmen throughout.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. It was cool seeing him. He's just one of those actors you always see
He
in
is.
something.
He's in a lot of gangster movies, and
You ever need like an Irish guy in like the 90s, 2000s? He'd be one of those.
but well, he's even in
The
Gladiator of
Irish?
all things.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a line in this movie though, which I was a little upset by because I like Tommy Flanagan. I was a big fan of Sons of Anarchy, and so every time I see him, I get a little. Well, I know that guy. I love that actor.
Yeah.
Now, you said you've only seen this movie in clips and little bits and pieces. Have you ever seen this opening chase when John Travolta uses a Hummer and a helicopter to chase down a plane on a runway?
Like, yeah. I don't think the whole thing's through, but yeah, definitely remember that part. A lot of the action scenes, for the most part, I remember.
The action in this movie is pretty good. It's some of the stuff that
It
happens in between the action that is kind of lacking.
the action carries this movie on its back.
Oh, it's you mean Nicolas Cage asking a woman if she would suck his tongue doesn't carry the movie?
What did he say? He said something about a peach. What did he say?
I could eat I could eat a peach for hours.
I was like, whoa, I had to fucking repeat that. I'm like, what the fuck did he just say? Why would he say that? That's crazy. That's
Well,
motherfucker unhinged, horny. He's a horny psychopath.
well, then he follows that up with, "If I were to send you flowers, no wait. If I were to let you suck my tongue, would you be grateful?" And just
He
fucking
just met
sticks
this
his tongue
chick.
out.
he just met her and she's into it, which is crazy. He
Well,
just
she's into it because
he,
she has to be. She's an undercover agent. Like,
oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's true. I guess. Yeah, that's true. It
but yeah,
seemed,
no. I mean,
yeah.
the action's
I think
great.
she was really into it.
The crashing into the hangar's good, and then you get another John Woo staple, which is like the jumping and firing the guns,
But yeah, it's a lot in this one.
which doesn't.
Jumping or diving or
I really don't.
rolling or on
I
the
really
ground.
don't think it helps your accuracy. In fact, I'm pretty sure it would hinder it quite a bit.
Not unless you're Max Payne or
But the way that they get him kind of incapacitated is so funny.
with the jet.
He just hits a button. He kicks him in front of a jet engine and then
I
hits
was
like
like,
turbo mode.
this was so over the top, unnecessary. You could have just knocked him out with a punch. No, I'm
No,
gonna use
no.
a fucking
He
jet
he has to
engine
fly
to
50 feet
blow
down a
him
tunnel.
to a fence thing. I'm like, oh my God. It was that shit was insane. I'm just I'm a
Yeah,
it's
it's
just I'm a I don't know whether to just like just shake my head or applaud. I think I did it at the same time. I think I was shaking my head and applauding because it was awesome. It's an awesome image and visual, but it was not necessary. It doesn't make sense, but it's
yeah,
cool looking.
it was
Cool
definitely a
looking.
choice.
It's definitely the choice. I don't even know how like that would come up as an idea in someone's head to do.
Yeah, that's
That's crazy. That's a crazy way to structure that, the ending of that scene there. Instead of just doing something simple by just knocking him out with like a gun or something.
well. But the thing
And
is, you're led to believe that he's dead because we don't know yet that he's alive, and then you get Travolta doing all these interrogations with Gina Gershon, and now
his
I do
brother,
want. Okay, so I do want to ask you this. So the bald guy, Gina Gershon's brother, is played by Nick Cassavetes. Do you by chance know who Nick Cassavetes is?
I recognize him. He was that fucking guy from Life. He was like
Okay,
the warden kind of. Yeah, he was like the warden sort of.
so Nick Cassavetes is the son of Gina Rollins and John Cassavetes, who was a Hollywood director. Nick Cassavetes plays in this movie and would later go on to be the director of The Notebook. Let that
Really,
sink
the
in for.
bald guy, the bald guy.
Yes. The one who literally looks at Travolta and goes, "How's your dead son?"
Yeah, the tall guy,
Yeah.
the
He
one that got
went
like shot in the neck.
he goes on to direct The Notebook.
That's crazy. Because he's also the guy from Life. That's where I recognize him from. So that's where my mind went. I was like, oh, he's that racist dude from Life. Oh shit, he directed the dope. That's crazy. That's a fact. That's interesting. Okay, I would never guess that.
I mean, I've heard it over the years, but every time I would hear it, I'm like, "There's got to be another Nick Cassavetes. There's no way that's the same guy
Right? He's
From
got,
Face Off who directed The
right?
Notebook."
That's gotta be his son. He named his son with his own name. That's Junior.
But yeah,
Gotta be.
and obviously he's interrogating because he wants to know the location of the bomb. That doesn't work, so he's approached and told that Castor Troy is being kept alive, and they want to do this fucking surgery.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like it's cool looking, but like, how does it? Okay, this could make sense. This
No,
concept could make sense if
if it was Blade Runner,
if they had the same body type, if they had a similar body type and almost a similar enough of a jaw structure that it could work if they look similar. But no, they don't. They're completely different bodies. I can understand switching the face, which doesn't make sense because the skeleton, like the skeletal
I have
structure is
so
wrong.
many problems with this. So again,
Like,
there's those issues, and he says to Travolta like, "Oh, we'll take care of those love handles. We'll slim you down to look like Castor Troy." And then when they finally start getting into the procedure, they just draw around his face, and then they use a laser that someone is freehanding with no guide. They're just following the drawn lines
mm,
to get to do his face. Then, while his now, I don't know if you caught this. While his face is off, they have him wrapped in gauze. They start cutting his hair.
that's what I'm saying. I'm
If
like, you should have did that before. What?
how
This
much of
is
that
surgery. This is surgery.
how much of that hair is getting under the facial skin?
Yeah, all up in the meat, all in that blood. Oh,
And that would
gonna get affected.
if you've ever if you've ever had hair from a haircut stuck in the back of your shirt, how itchy that is. Imagine it in your forehead under your skin.
In just random spots all over your face. Yeah, that
Oh, it's it's why. And then I do
I
like
couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
when he comes to and he has that like nervous breakdown. I can understand why.
Yeah, that was an effective scene.
That's because Nick Cage knows how to act.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
I know.
oh,
I've seen this
this is
movie.
Nick.
I know he
Now
can act. I've
for
seen this
everyone,
movie.
this is Nick Cage. They didn't actually do the surgery.
Yeah, I mean, he from how he acted, like his acting in the scene, you would think it was pretty. It's
Because I mean,
believable.
that's how you would react if you woke up and all of a sudden looked in the mirror and saw the face of your arch
There'd be a lot
enemy,
more
the man
swear
who
words.
murdered your child. You would react exactly like that.
Mm, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so he's told that you have so much time because they're going to put him undercover into the prison to talk with Pollux, who's Castor Troy's brother,
That guy.
because they need to know the location of this bomb.
I can't take
This
the little brother serious. Every time he talks, he sounds he. I don't. First of all, I don't know what that accent is that he's doing. The way he's talking
I
is
don't think it's an accent. I think it's just the way
it's
he
just he
is.
talks. It's the way he talks. He's like soft spoken. Bro, he kind of sound. I couldn't help but make a comparison to the way the aliens talked in Galaxy Quest.
The Thermians.
Yeah, I was like, why is he talking like that? And I couldn't. Every time he talked, I giggled because it reminded me of it. But yeah, interesting choice
Yeah, I don't know if
for
they're
a
trying
voice.
to posit that he has some like he's slow or he's got some kind of developmental issues.
I think so. We've got something going on,
I mean, you've even got fucking Nicolas Cage tying his shoes for him. Like,
which is like we don't get any context to it. Would have made
no,
sense if we knew why he was doing that. We're
they
led
just
to
kind of
believe he can't tie his own shoes.
well, they just kind of allude to the fact that that Castor has always had to like
Watch out for him.
really look after his brother.
By tying his shoes?
I guess.
He a grown man. I can understand if he was autistic or something, which they didn't explain in the movie. He was just
And that's what I
a
mean.
guy.
If he is that, they don't ever actually say it.
Yeah,
But
would have been nice.
so this is where we get I think you had said it was one of your favorites, the magnet prison,
This
because that's where he has
prison,
to go.
this
Because
prison
Pollock
was
is
like
in
a,
this. It's like a black site prison that is,
it's like,
from the looks of it, is in the same area as where Alcatraz is.
yeah, it's like a Alcatraz, but like a
Oil rig.
dystopian future looking prison.
But from the outside, it looks like an oil rig.
Yeah, like how does this work? How do you, okay, it
But
would be a
the
nightmare going in and out of as an employee. I'd say
those
that.
fucking magnet boots.
The magnet boots, the fucking giant screen that they have in the middle of the fucking, I guess the prison that just plays news. Everything
Oh,
about this is,
well, it plays news and it plays like nature documentary stuff.
oh yeah, yeah, like yeah.
But here in the prison,
Which sure,
you get a cameo from Thomas Jane, the Punisher.
yeah.
And now we'll go back to Pollux for just 1 second. You know what? I think I actually might have gotten his. I think his name is Alessandro Nivola, not Nicola. I want to double check that really quickly before
Come on,
I
Nicolas Cage.
continue. Yeah, it is. It's Nivola. No, that's his real name. So
Yeah,
again, something else that he's been in. He plays. I forget the character's name, but he plays Alan Grant's research assistant in Jurassic Park 3, the guy who steals the raptor eggs. Looks
yeah,
totally different.
yeah. Because he's kind of, you know, uh, just the way his body language, the way he's like, he's just playing the character is very like meek and kind of rolled over, just the way he is. Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah, it's definitely unrecognizable compared to the character in Jurassic Park 3. That's
Yeah.
wild. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
I forgot
and
about that. Yeah, it is him. It's that dinosaur stealing bitch.
and what's funny about all this is so you get Sean Archer as Castor Troy. No. Yeah. In the prison, and all he does is he has to talk to Pollux for about 30 seconds, and he has all the information that he needs. And it's like, okay, mission should be over, but nope. We've already got a predetermined date that you're going to be extracted out of here. So now you're just going to have to deal with prison because this operation is so off the
Yeah,
books that not even the director of the FBI or
nobody
his
else knows.
wife know
Yeah,
about it.
I would have told my wife. I
No
know I was told
shit.
not to. I think any reasonable person would have told their spouse at least, like, look, this is about to happen. Because anything could have happened, like the events that happened in the movie, right?
And anything
But
does happen because
he
we
told
see
her that
that
he wouldn't have
hospital
to.
room and Nick Cage. This was a legit jump scare when he sits up and
Since they were a reflection,
well, it's first when he just sits up and then he takes off the gauze, but then you start seeing him watching the footage of the surgery and he's smoking a cigarette.
oh,
And yeah, you get
with no
the
lips.
yeah.
How you
It's a
smoking? Oh,
I
that must
don't
be painful.
it,
How are you not just
in
in agony
excruciating
pain?
pain.
You should be. Even with all the best pain meds,
You would
that shit still
think,
should be. You should be
and
screaming.
then even so, and I remember when I was a kid, you get those quick little shots at the side of him where you kind of see him without a face. And I remember as kids, we were like, "Oh, I want to see more
Yeah,
of it." And then you get it in the
no,
reflection of
you
his
don't.
glasses.
Yeah,
And
it just looks like Nicolas Cage with like
blood.
deli meat, blood and deli meat all over his face.
Yeah.
It looks straight. Like that's yeah. I mean, if this was because they didn't have the effects to create that, so I appreciated like doing the quick flashes of it, kind of letting us see that something's going on, but also letting our imagination work. I always appreciate that. But if
Well,
this was shot today, you would have seen it. They would have like
it,
a clear image of it without the face.
yeah, it's kind of like the whole Jaws less is more kind of thing.
Hmm.
Like, just give that quick little shot of it, like for a split second, and let you in your mind kind of really imagine what that would look like.
Hmm.
But I mean, it obviously that's the last year, and then it leads to Troy. You have a visitor, and it's the face off.
That is funny how you said that that's the Joker, because didn't you compared him to the Joker because isn't there a scene similar to this in Batman '89 where it brings in a doctor to
Well,
like help fix his face and he
in
kills
the
the
new
doctor,
in
going taking on the gods and all.
I believe it's the new 52, the iteration of the Joker. He literally does that. He cuts his face off and like puts it back on all fucked up and like
Hmm.
staples it
Yeah, that
back
was a big
on.
deal
And
back then. Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
but the face to face scene um, in the prison when Troy as Archer comes to visit Archer as Troy,
Oh my God.
one of my
When?
favorite scenes in the entire movie.
Oh, when John Travolta licks Nick Cage's face.
Yes, because like I said, this is when John Travolta starts going full cage.
Yeah, definitely. There's a flip script there with with him being, and yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
What's
I love
the
seeing crazy
"Wee,
stuff.
you good looking?" And then he does the
Hmm.
it's like staring into a mirror, only not.
And it's not just the fact that because Nick Cage's character was like the crazy psychopath, the more interesting character. It's not just that is why John Travolta was able to be a better Nick Cage than the reverse. It's because John Travolta really studied like how Nicolas Cage talks and like his mannerisms because there's certain times where it like when John Travolta is acting as Nick Cage, he does that. He does
Yeah,
very similar mannerisms as Nick Cage. It's pretty good.
yeah. No, I think that Travolta's performance is probably the best acting job in the
He
movie.
played the better. Yeah, yeah. He was definitely the better playing the other person. It was John Travolta for sure.
Now, when I was a kid, I was always like, "Oh, he's just doing this like to get back at Archer and like for taking his face and whatnot." Never really realizing as a child, like he's got a plan where what he's going to do is not only use his face, but he's going to infiltrate his life and then become like this big FBI hero, but then still do like his terrorism, his murder, his and do
Which
but
I
do it
like
from
that.
such a high ranking position that he almost feels like he would be untouchable.
When we entered that part of the movie, that's when it started getting interesting. Because
Yeah,
that as a concept is very interesting. And it like it reminds me now, because we have it now, is like a Black Mirror episode. This could have been an amazing Black Mirror episode if this concept was given to the people that write those episodes. Um, especially especially because they would have leaned on that aspect of it, where now because he's the good guy, or he's the bad guy being the good guy, he's doing his bad guy stuff as the good guy. That's fascinating.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where he's like, I could set this crazy plot and come in at the last second like he does with the bomb and defuse it and be this massive hero. But then also, if he decides that he wants to go and bomb a church, who's going to be the task force that heads up the investigation? His task force that he's in charge of.
And he can easily frame his
Or
enemies
or he can
if he
point
wants
his
to.
team in other directions so they would never look at him.
There's so much you can do with that I would love to see. It's a lot. It's a
Now,
really good concept.
once we get to this face swapping, we get into what I like to call the problematic part of the movie, and that's John
Oh yeah.
Travolta's interaction with his daughter.
I mean, you get it because that guy isn't related. But
Well, but now if
I, we know that as the audience member, but I mean, you did not, this was not needed, man. You could have
well,
edited, no, this was not needed. This
but
that
right off
added
the
nothing to
bat,
the story.
they have been portraying Travolta as like kind of an absent father ever since Michael was like his son Michael was killed.
Yeah,
That whole
severe
thing, but
PTSD.
if you were sitting in your bedroom by yourself and either your mother or your father walked in and called you by the wrong name and you're 16 years old, wouldn't something go off in your head like, how do you not know my name?
I mean, it was close enough
It
to where
was.
he bounced back quickly. So, I mean, I guess I could have understood that, but she still should have pressed him. But she was in that moment shocked by
Well, she
his
also thought she got caught because she's
behavior
smoking.
and the yeah, and that too, right? So I'll give her a
But
pass on that one. But still,
what
the
16 year
whole
old
it's so creepy. That's so creepy.
what 16-year old in the 90s is hanging out in their bedroom listening to James Brown?
No, no one, no one. Especially that girl. That girl's listening to like Alanis Morissette or
I was
like
gonna
I
say
don't know.
Meredith Brooks, like Bitch, or even like a No Doubt, like a more punky vibe.
Yeah, any rebellious kind of young artist of the 90s, she would have been definitely bumping.
But yeah, the
Anybody
whole.
else besides James Brown, that would have been the last person I
I
think.
mean, I,
She would even know who James Brown is?
they did it for the Travolta joke, but leading up to that, when he comes in
Oh
and she's
God.
literally just in like a tank top and underwear, and he goes, "You have something I crave," and like moves towards her. I remember being like, "I know what happens, but why is this here?" And he just pulls out a cigarette, and now she's all of a sudden no longer scared. She just goes, "Since when do you smoke?" And then you
Yeah,
get
there's a
you get the James Brown joke of you're gonna be seeing a lot of changes. Papa's got a brand
from
new bag, and then he sachets down the hallway like only John Travolta can do.
yeah, that's a scene right there. That was an effective scene for sure. Nah, not really. It's just creepy. It comes off as creepy.
Well, it'll come off a little more creepy later when she's with her boyfriend.
Buddy, talk about art imitating life.
No
You know what I
shit, I
mean?
thought I wrote the exact same note.
You know, I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that. Oh, hmm,
I think yeah, it's
problematic,
the
problematic.
literally the note that I wrote because her boyfriend is played by Danny Masterson, and he's like trying to assault her in the car. And I wrote, "It's
In
odd that it's
her
odd that
driveway, mind
oh
you.
yeah, her in her driveway when her father is an FBI agent."
Yeah, yeah. All logical things that a young man would do.
Well, I wrote on my in my notes. I put, "It's odd that Danny Masterson is playing her boyfriend, who's trying to assault her in her own driveway. It's like this movie predicted the future."
Yeah, yeah, definitely predicted the future, didn't age well, and um, yeah, yeah.
I mean, that being said, you enjoy when fucking
Oh, he gets in
Travolta
the car,
rips him out of the car,
smash the fucking window. Yeah, yeah, that was
and
cool.
then he
I'm
get,
always down to see his ass get beat. Danny Masterson, he deserves it every day.
and then he
So
gives
yeah, glad I seen it.
gives her a butterfly knife,
That was a
and
cool. I've never seen a butterfly knife like that where the blade is wavy like that. That's kind of cool.
yeah, I've always remembered when he says to her like, "Stick this in, twist the blade so the wound won't close." I don't know
Damn.
why that line has always stuck with me. Not that I've ever stabbed anyone or ever would even consider it, but like
A
for
lot of
some
people,
reason that line is
it's
stuck in my head, and I don't know why.
very visceral, and immediately, as soon as you say it, you visualize it. And people fear being stabbed more than they fear being shot.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's probably
I would agree with that.
yeah.
Now, again, we said his. Now we start getting into a little bit more of the personal life with him at home with his wife and his daughter. I'm sorry.
Oh, his wife, his poor wife.
How does she not realize?
Y- Yeah. Well, I mean, is that going to be the first thing you think? She was thinking something's up, but
Okay,
she
do they
was
have this?
she was so neglected and so horny that
Okay,
she
but
just wanted she just she did she wasn't she was trying she was she had her eyebrows raised. She was definitely was a little suspicious, but the more game that was put on her, the more she was like, hey, it's been a minute, fuck
do they have this?
it.
Oh, do Travolta and Cage have the same size dick?
Oh shit, I don't know.
Because wouldn't that be a dead giveaway?
Yeah,
Like,
well, I mean, maybe they bang in the dark, and
you still feel
I don't
it.
know.
We're gonna take care of those. We're gonna take care of those love handles, and we're gonna also give you a hog.
Oh shit! All right, they didn't that part they edited out. You didn't. They did that off screen, but it happens. Just so you know.
Yeah, I mean, I get that people change sometimes, but like he goes from like mopey to just uber romantic and just like he dials it up to 11. That I feel like something inside of her would be like, this is not the same person.
And for like a hot minute, he did improve his life. I'm not gonna lie. He did
Oh,
improve his
100%.
life.
I mean,
He improved his marriage, his relationship with his coworkers.
I
Yeah,
will say
man.
though, if you're sitting in that position, I guess the first thought that's going through your head is not going to be maybe he's wearing a different face.
Yeah, this isn't my husband. This is a different human being completely. Yeah, those things are the last thing you're thinking of
It's just
as you're trying to figure out what's going on.
it's such a weird thing because it's showing Travolta kind of getting into this domesticated life. Meanwhile, you've got Cage causing a prison riot to break out of magnet prison.
Yeah,
Um,
I like. I don't. Did he plan this? This is just like off the cuff.
no, he planned it because he asks when they ever take the boots off, and they say the one guy tells them if you're in the infirmary when they're about to fry your skull. So their punishment is to basically go and get like electroshock therapy to the brain
it's
And
painful.
when that happens, they take their boots off. So he attacks a guard so that he'll be sent to the infirmary. So as soon as they take his boots off, he uses the other guy, the guy who attacks him the first day he's there. And the two of them kind of start this riot and escape. The guy ends up dying, obviously, but Cage ends up escaping. Now, I don't know how he escapes because he's in the middle of not the middle of the ocean, but let's say the middle of the San Francisco Bay, where, like, say, Alcatraz is. He
He's in
jumps
the
off
middle of
this.
open water. Yeah, like just
Well,
open
he
water.
jumps off of
Perfect.
this structure,
Yes.
and there's a helicopter who watches him do it, and he
With
still
guns.
just makes it to shore. It's like the helicopter goes, well, he wouldn't have survived that fall. Let's just go back and have lunch.
Yep. Problem took care of itself.
Like, no pursuit,
They should have
no.
at least shot the water. If they would have shot the water, I would have been all right. Because they do that in movies. They'll shoot the water, they'll look for a little bit, and
No,
they'll.
they just instantly go from him jumping off to him immediately coming and, like, going to
Oh
a fancy
man,
restaurant and stealing a car from a valet.
I love that scene because it's the if you're paying attention, you can clearly see the stuntman is in full effect here and looks nothing like Nicolas Cage. Because as he's being shot and shit's blowing up and he's jumping and flipping over, pay attention to that person that's doing that. It's not Nick Cage. That is
Yeah,
clearly a different human being
they
with
didn't
like a
hide the
full head of
stunt.
hair.
They
No,
didn't hide the stuntman too well.
not at all. Not at all. Which like it takes me out. So many of scenes in this movie would have been more effective or would have what they were trying to accomplish would have paid off if they wouldn't have it was just edited better. They or especially with scenes where there's obvious dummies or scenes where there's stuntman because it takes the audience, the person watching, completely out of the scene when they're noticing this. And
Yeah,
that's not good. That's not good. Yeah.
yeah. It's an interesting thing when movies they don't seem to care too much about masking who the stuntmen are.
Mm-hmm. Because you remember it. Like there's a famous part. It's only a flash, a quick flash of a second in one of the Mummy movies, the Brandon Fraser Mummy movies. But I pause it almost every time I watch it because it's clearly a stunt person, but it's like a millisecond of a scene,
Yeah,
so it works. But still, like I remember it, I remember that, and that's not good. You want to remember what happened, like the actual scene, not the fact that
I
there's a
mean,
stuntman in the scene.
I guess that could be one of the big positives with CGI is they can digitally take like the actor's face and put it over the stuntman. So it's you can kind of mask it, but yeah, then you have movies like this that they don't even bother saying to
They
the
didn't bother.
stuntman, like, make sure your head is always looking away from camera.
No, their faces, they're looking dead ass at the camera, and it holds on the scene too much to where you recognize that's not who's supposed to be in that scene.
Yeah.
They should, the editing should, yeah, that's one of my biggest complaints with the movie is the way it was edited. It is awful editing.
Yeah, it happens a few
Jesus
times.
Christ. It's, yeah, mm-hmm. A lot of the, a lot of the action scenes, towards like a little bit of the beginning, a little bit of the middle, and a little bit of the end. There's a lot. Those moments are in there with stuntmen for
Well,
sure.
like we said, they kind of use the action scenes as the like they're obviously the big moments of the movie, but then they just use the in between scenes as filler to kind of just lead up to it because the next big action scene is the shootout at Nick Cassavetes' place, And it was always one of my favorites when I was a kid when Nick Cage comes and they're doing like the bump of cocaine or whatever, and he starts doing. I want to take. I want Sean Archer, and I want to take his face off, and he's doing like the hand
Hmm.
gestures, and he
Hmm.
walks away, and Nick Cassavetes goes, "No more drugs for that man."
As he like peels over the bed, falls to the ground. Like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. But again, a scene that's coming up is another one of those things where we're supposed to be the scene, the way it plays out, we're supposed to feel something like I guess happy for these for the Nicolas Cage and I forget the one lady.
Gina Gershon.
Yeah, because
Oh, with
she
Michael 2.0.
she introduces the son, right? And it's like this moment that's supposed to be endearing, and we're
And then it
supposed
turns
to,
creepy and scary.
yeah, because of the way Nicolas Cage is acting, the way he reacts,
Well, it's
and
because
what his response is fucking out of this world.
well, I mean, it's because he sees this kid who does like he looks a lot like the kid in the beginning, and he
And that
just
kid's,
sees
yeah,
his
his
son,
hair.
and it's she's like, oh, his name's Adam, and he starts hugging him. He's like, Michael, Michael, and she's like, stop
He
it, you're
does.
scaring him. I'm like, yeah, you're fucking terrifying this kid.
I'd be terrified. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And that kid's hair is
Can
crazy. It's a bowl cut, but it's also a mullet at the same time.
yeah,
It's wild.
can we talk
But yeah,
about
no, like again, like we're supposed to feel some kind of way about this scene, emotional, but completely taken out because of the way Nicolas Cage reacts in that moment. So it's
yeah?
like you almost are laughing at the scene,
Oh,
which isn't the emotion, not the emotion you're supposed to have at this time.
I full on laugh.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Yeah, exactly. I'm
Now,
trying
can
to be
we
soft
talk
and
about
find my words there.
what I find to be one of the weirdest things? And because of this gesture, they could have called this movie Face Wipe the movie. This
Okay,
fucking cascading down the face that John Travolta's whole family does.
okay.
It's so weird.
Yeah, that is strange. But, it's their family thing. Some families got some weird things that they do. That's just their thing. It's
And
it's
then
weird, but whatever. Every time they did it, I'm like, okay, don't do that. Stop doing that.
if your reaction is don't do that.
Don't fucking do that. Yeah, yeah, definitely not. Just stop that.
Now I do love that. So they this whole big shootout scene here. I like how it's
I liked it.
framed with the
I like how
kid
it's framed.
listening to Over the
Yes,
Rainbow.
it was okay. That part was pretty cool. And the fact that he was in danger. Anytime you see a kid in the street out in danger, it's effective. Um, and I really do like this this scene. And again, I'm gonna bring up the concept because at the beginning of the movie, you're rooting for the good guys, and you're you're going against the bad guys because the bad guys are the obvious bad guys, and the cops are the good guys. But in this scene, you're rooting for the bad guys, and the good guys are the bad guys, but they're really the good guys. It's like but you are rooting for the
Yeah.
bad guys, which I like that. It's a cool flip and a contrast to the beginning of the movie.
We want to apologize to any of our listeners who just started with a headache because of that explanation.
Exactly. But
But you're absolutely
yeah,
right
no,
because,
yeah, yeah.
and especially because you've got obviously because Travolta is Castor Troy, and for some reason they take Pollux along with them.
Hmm.
Like I don't know why he's there, but he ends up
Because he's awesome.
during this whole thing. And I forget how it happens, but he somehow ends up falling through like three skylights and hitting the ground and dying. And Travolta goes up to him and he has to tie his shoe again. And
Yeah, well, it's untied, right? So,
but the one cop comes up and he's like, "Sir, what the hell are you doing? It's just Pollux Troy." It's like number one when I see that I'm like, okay, he's still a human being though.
yeah,
And
I
Travolta
mean,
just point blank pops this
yeah,
guy right in the head.
exactly. We had to get there because the original cop would just ask him, "How are you okay?" Nothing so savage, but hey, that's what happens. I think a, a lot of people that lost their family member and somebody said that I don't think they would shoot him in the head, but yeah, they would have done something to that guy for sure.
Yeah. Now, are we positive that this child is Castor Troy's?
And she
You
said it
know,
was, right? She said it was.
yeah. Well, that kiss
Has
with
to
her,
be.
that kiss with her brother sends up some red flags.
Oh, they did say that too. I was confused.
Yes,
I was
that's her.
confused as
That's her
fuck.
brother. That's her brother.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it is not. Unless this is Game of Thrones universe. Unless
I remember
are they
watching this.
Targaryens? It must be
I remember
Targaryens.
watching this as a kid, and they're like, he's like, "Get out of here!" And he's holding his neck because he was shot. And I could get past them being brother and sister and like a peck on the lips. No, no, this is like full
Oh,
on
yeah.
teenagers under the bleachers making out.
I was like, yeah. I said, wait a minute, are they together? Wait a
No,
minute, but
no, they're
I was
brother and
like, they could have
sister.
sworn. Yeah, but my mind was racing. So I was like, wait a minute. Wait, so they're together? Wait, I could have sworn he said it was brother sister. That doesn't make sense because
So
wasn't she just making out with what's happening?
I've
And
always
then
wondered. I've
three other
always
people got
wondered:
shot.
is Adam really Casters or is he a little Game of Thrones baby?
Are they really siblings?
Yes, they refer. So they.
They made out. That's fucking crazy.
I
John
know.
Woo. John Woo, please come to the front of the class.
Yeah, because earlier in the
I
movie
have
when Travolta's
questions.
interrogating them, he talks to the bald guy and he's like, "I've got your sister in the other room."
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard. Until I heard see them make out and it broke my brain. I'm like, what's going on with this? And then the creepy scene with John incest undertones of this movie. Not even
So I will
undertones,
say,
literal making out of siblings. And
oh,
that can't be true.
it's the middle of the screen.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now, I will say, as much as I love this movie, I think it's too long. So in my opinion, as much as good as the scene was when they come face to face in the prison, it's this scene when they're back to back against the mirror.
Yeah, that was in the trailer. I remember the trailer.
To me that should have been the climax of the movie. Not the boat chase, not the funeral, not the all that stuff. It should have been this should have been the climax right here. because I felt that there was so much more tension as opposed to later in the movie when they go to the funeral and the all that stuff.
14 Dubs.
Oh god, the
Yeah,
dubs.
yeah, it would have made for a much tighter movie, and yeah, you could have cut close to an hour of this, to be honest.
And I mean, if it was me, I would have I almost would have had them because he when Travolta says, "Oh, let's just go with Plan B and let's just kill each other," and then they're looking in the mirror at their own arch
I
enemy.
know.
Dude, I would have just had the movie end where they both fire. It goes through the mirror, hits each of them. They both die. Roll credits.
True, but the money it would not have made as much money as it did, right? It got to have explosions and over
I
over the
know,
top antics.
because
You
that
would have
whole
that would have been a good tight movie, tight script
because then
movie, but
we've
nope.
still got because then now we've still got to go through Nick Cage breaking into the house and telling his wife, "Oh, you got to check the blood types," and then John
Her
Travolta
checking the blood types.
induces a heart attack by elbowing his boss in the chest.
That was crazy. I was like, you can do that?
And then we get the funeral, which is a Catholic mass in what looks like a Buddhist temple that's wide
Show.
open with no walls on the beach filled with white doves.
Like at least 18 doves just chilling.
This whole
That would have
scene,
that would have been a nightmare to be an actor filming in that scene. With random fucking birds just gonna land on top of your head, shitting all over the crew and
yeah.
you. I'd be mad as fuck. Like, why are these doves here?
I also feel
So
like that.
many.
I also feel like that whole scene with the doves in the slow motion is like
That's the
John Woo's
that's his
wet dream.
signature. Yeah, it's his signature. That's what he's known for. Gung fu and doves. So I knew it was coming. I just didn't realize how many doves were involved in this scene. The church
There's a
scene is
lot.
why is who's taking does the church take care of all these birds? Like I started questioning it just
There,
because there were
there's no
so many of them.
there's no walls. They can go wherever they want.
Like, okay, yeah.
I
Yep.
do like the John Travolta walking up the center aisle and he puts his arms out like he's imitating Christ on the cross and he's like
Yes.
mumbling
And
fake Latin.
and this was one of the times the editing was effective because he does the Jesus pose, edits to like they showed a Jesus on a cross,
Yeah.
and then it cuts back to Nick's Cage. Like that's an effective scene of and that's good use of editing in that one moment.
And then we get the Mexican standoff, the big shootout in the church. Gina Gershon dies. Oh, take care of our son. And
Mm.
the funniest is his wife knows that Nicolas Cage is her husband, and she has to sit there and watch him like kissing Gina Gershon and referring to her as like babe, and
Hmm.
it's like I know you're playing a role right now, but what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I mean, it just gets into the finale, the boat chase again. I just thought it went on too long.
It went on, yeah, it went on too long, and yeah, because of the obvious stunt actors that are involved in the scene. You're just focused on that and not really what's happening in the action,
Well, because
and
it
you're
could have
almost
been
It's laughable. It's laughable, man.
because obviously
So laughable.
one has to chase the other, and then somehow he gets onto the boat. And it could have just been a simple thing where it's like a fist fight for 30 seconds and no one's controlling it, so the boat runs aground and crashes. But they go into like Nick Cage is like holding on and he's like almost like water skiing on the side of the boat. And Travolta's going to steer it to hit something to knock him off, so he's got to jump back on. And I'm like, you guys are going a little too far with this scene and extending it a lot longer than it needs to be.
The way it crashes and they go flying.
They
They
fly
go
200 feet.
flying like 100 feet. It was crazy. It was cool though. It's
And,
cool as hell
and where
to
do they
look at.
land? Where do they land? They're surrounded by all this metal shrapnel.
It was like, I guess where boats dock. It was like a docking thing of some sort because it was like they landed perfectly in like shallow water where they should have been
Yeah,
fucked up. They flew so far.
and the Travolta taking the shrapnel and like cutting at the face. Oddly enough, cutting almost right along the same lines.
Right? He was just trying to cut his face to have leave scars and shit, right?
Well, but he's
Is
almost
that
cutting it along all of the same lines that they cut it off of the face.
yeah, but hit the point
Yeah,
he
he's
was
trying to
making.
deface it.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. He's not just trying to cut his fucking forehead and the middle of his face, his cheeks. No, I'm cutting around the teeth. It's,
And I gotta say, he shows some impressive strength to catch a harpoon.
as it's shot out. He
Yeah, and
caught it
he's like
right as it's shot.
holding the spring mechanism to keep the bolt in the harpoon gun. That's some impressive strength right there.
Absolutely, because as soon as he let goes, it continues his momentum of it
It's
being shot out, and it goes right through
and that right there, just Nicolas Cage going, "Die!"
him. Ugh.
I know it's supposed to be like a cathartic moment where he's screaming, but I laugh every single time.
Yeah, and just like the way John Travolta is like pinned up, and it's
And then
yeah,
fucking all the FBI
I
agents
can't
come
take it serious.
when the FBI agents come in. Archer, are you okay? And he said, well, "What did you call me?" Which the other thing with this movie is when he does the procedure, the doctor puts he's like, "Oh, we put an implant in your larynx to mimic Castor Troy's voice," and he says to him, "Something as simple as a violent sneeze could dislodge it." Nicolas Cage has his ass beat 12 Ways from Sunday all over this movie. That voice box never even blinks an eye. But
Not till it had to.
a violent sneeze could dislodge it, but getting punched in the throat and strangled and nope, none of that's going to even affect it.
Nope, not until like the end, but it was needed.
Not until we need you to have John Travolta's voice again.
Hmm. Convenient.
Well, and convenient because when they do the surgery, they're like, this doctor's doing stuff that other medical professionals in this country wouldn't even dream of trying. And all his wife does is she goes, "They're bringing in the top surgeons from Washington. You're going to be just fine." No, these
They
people
wouldn't
have no idea
dream.
what they're doing.
You just said they wouldn't dream of doing it. And I gotta bring up another thing, okay? And this fucking is hilarious because this clearly is somebody who doesn't understand how Time magazine works. Because John Travolta's character gets I think it's Time magazine. Man of the Year? Huh? A random detective?
But no,
I thought I,
he shouldn't even exist because he's on like a black site terrorist team. So he's like
man of the Year.
He's like beyond covert ops.
But yeah, well, he's in the limelight limelight now as fucking one of the most famous people of that year because
When
his
he,
face against the neighbor.
well, it's when he's on the news and he goes, interception. Now our side's got the ball.
Oh Jesus. Sure. Absolutely.
So so yeah, we don't get to see the surgery unfortunately this time, but we do get to see John Travolta arrive back home with a random child.
Oh my God. Didn't discuss it with his wife at all.
Nope.
And like the psychological damage this is gonna cause because he looks like the previous son who just died.
And
Yeah, that's not gonna have
they're
a
gonna give
lasting
him his
effect.
room. And the best is
Just
he brings him in and he just goes, "This is Adam. He's gonna live with us." Immediately he looks at Joan Allen like, "That's okay, right?" And his daughter does the little face wipe, and she's like, "Here, I'll show you to your new
instantly
room."
starts acting like his sister. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute. There's no
She
fit. No, 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 no,
she
no,
goes,
no,
"I'll
no.
show you to your new room." And then John Travolta looks at Joan Allen and he goes, "This is okay, right?"
I guess, well, you can't
Well,
say
now,
no
yeah,
now. Like,
now
you can't
you
say no
haven't
now.
given her a choice
He's
to
got a
say
room.
no.
He's got a room now. You can't kick him out.
Oh
And
God.
another thing I gotta mention because it's towards the end. I think yeah, it's towards the end of the movie where John Travolta and Nick Cage are talking to each other, and yeah, he yeah he does this. So so he got to be Nick Cage. He got fat sucked out. So John Travolta must have had fat
Put back in.
put in because he mentions like having the same body, like he's like, "Now I got your body" or something. So it opened up a whole can of questions in my head. I was like, "Oh, it's like, all right, man, all right."
It's so good, but even in the beginning when they're gonna do the surgery and they're talking about the one cop who got his ear shot off, and they're like, we had to build him a whole new ear with lasers, and then it shows them going to put the ear on the guy's head, and it looks like a piece of Play-Doh, and the girl is just like dropping it on his head, and like she can't maneuver it properly. I'm like, this looks bad.
Mm, yeah, yeah. There's some pretty bad practical effects in here that adds to the charm of this movie. Not the score, not my critic score, but it definitely adds to the charm.
Well, speaking of critic score, I think we've kind of exhausted that. So that's the end of Face Off. And I think we can move into final thoughts on this film, unless you have any objections to that.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, I suggested this movie, so I'll go first. Um, I think we've said it multiple times during this episode. This movie is fucking wild. It is batshit, all kinds of
Mm,
crazy. Um, is it a great movie? Like a great technically made movie? No, no. Is it a well acted movie? No. Is it something that I will watch over and over again because it is fucking damn entertaining? Absolutely. This movie is just 2 hours plus of just ridiculousness and fun. And if you don't take it super seriously, you can laugh at a lot of the stuff that goes on in this movie.
hmm
And I I would almost feel that almost makes it more enjoyable because if you It's kind of like when I look at a Fast and Furious movie. If you look at it as if like this is gospel and this is as if it was really taking place, your brain is going to hurt. It's like trying to figure out time travel. If you sit down and look at this movie for what it is, which is just a popcorn action flick, you are going to have a blast. Um, Again, I love the portrayal of John Travolta as Sean Archer as Cast. Nope. Yep, Sean Archer as Castor Troy. I think that performance steals the movie, and as I said earlier many times, he does a better job of going full Cage than Nick Cage does. Um, but it's an impressive cast of actors in the mid to late '90s. And while I say they're not great, they do kind of hold their own. I personally think I'm not the biggest fan of John Woo, and I think he might have been a mistake in terms of the director for this movie, just on some of the choices that he made. As I said, it is a bit long, in my opinion. I think you could have cut out a good 20 to 30 minutes and made this a much more concise, more well-rounded movie. But all that being said, I'm not. So when I do my ratings on here, I try and keep them as objective as I can. But this one, I'm just kind of going by my own sheer enjoyability. And I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10, which is right in line with where IMDb is. I am nowhere near where the critics on Rotten Tomatoes are. Holy fuck. But
Yeah, I don't know what's going on
yeah, I'm going to give this a 7. And I mean, as I say, for a fun summer blockbuster popcorn action flick, I give it a recommend.
there. Yeah. Um, yeah, this movie is the very definition of over the top action movie. It's a bit of a high concept type of late 90s action movie. Yeah, uh, I appreciate a lot of the gung fu in this movie. Um, and most of the action. The the performances, the acting overall is pretty good. Um, aside from like maybe like the young kid actors, everyone else was pretty good for the most part. I mean, even though their characters are either over the top or a stereotype or an archetype that are seen in a lot of action movies. They did a pretty fine job, aside from some character choices with the way they portrayed their voice. It's pretty good. Yeah, I would agree with the director. It's definitely the wrong choice. Um, the way this movie was edited is probably one of my biggest problems with this movie. Just unnecessary cuts and the use of slow motion was on a level of Zack Snyder, just completely unnecessary and overused. Uh, but yeah, if you are willing to leave your brain at the door uh, and not question any of the logic in this movie, you will definitely have a fun time because the action is scattered throughout the movie and there's enough of it to where you will be entertained. And the performances of the lead characters, John Travolta, Nicolas Cage, are definitely worth watching this movie. Um, just because Nicolas Cage performance alone, not only is it meme worthy, but he definitely flexes his acting range because he goes through the entire range of emotions in this movie, and he he does it in full Nicolas Cage effect. It's always entertaining when that happens. Um, I'll recommend this if you are into like action movies, especially ones of the 90s, and you're either a fan of either Nicolas Cage or John Travolta. It's worth a watch for sure. If this was one of the movies that slipped through your fingers. For me, I would give this movie a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Now, I will say before we wrap things up, I think this movie would have worked really, really well had it been set like a Blade Runner, where like it's so far into the future that this could almost be plausible. This type of operation and world that they're trying to live in, and the prison
Yeah, enough
wouldn't
in the
look
future
so out of
where
place.
exactly, or you could, yeah, exactly,
But
or at least, yeah, set in a not too distant future to where this type of procedure is being, at least it's common enough.
yeah, I mean, another aspect would be kind of cool if you did like this type of procedure, but it was like on the black market, kind of like the eye swapping in Minority Report.
Yeah, it could have been, yes, in the future where they switched brains instead of faces.
Would have made a little more
But
sense.
brain off doesn't sound as good as face off, so I get it.
No, not at all. But with that, we are gonna end our episode here on Face Off One. Next week we will be finishing off our little 4-part mini series on movies with duos, and we're gonna turn it to you to reveal our next film.
Yes, we are going for our next movie. We're going to take a classic uh, duo that we've all love in movies, the buddy cop movie, and we're going to kind of turn it on its head because in most buddy cop movies, they start off almost butting heads, almost like enemies, and then throughout the movie, they become friends. Our next movie is they kind of start off as friends, then throughout the movie, they become enemies.
I have no idea
Mostly,
where you're going with this.
mostly because the lead, the one of the actors or one of the cops, uh, is a cop that King Kong doesn't have shit on him. So
Oh,
our next movie is one of my personal favorite movies of all time, played by one of the best actors, considered one of the greatest actors of all time.
Ethan Hawke.
Uh, yeah. Um, our next movie is the gritty street level masterpiece Training Day.
Okay, you're not going to like what I have to say.
What, you never seen it?
No, I've seen it, but I think I only really saw it when it first came out, and I don't know if I was the wrong age range, but I thought it was kind of overrated,
Mm.
and I never really revisited it. So I'm actually looking forward to going back and giving it another look as an actual adult, as opposed to because I
Oh,
think it came out in like the early 2000s, so I was like a fucking
yeah, I think it came out like
a
oh,
shitty teenager.
yeah. No, I've seen this quite a few times, and you should have a different perspective on the movie, but we'll see.
And I'm sorry, but King Kong ain't got nothing on me. That's Malibu's Most Wanted.
Oh, no, it's not. Who says that? Jamie Kennedy is the only one that
Yes,
says
he
that.
does.
That's the only other person that says that. Good Lord. He said
Well,
it
that's
better.
who did Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah, it was funnier.
Well, that's going to bring us to an end on this episode, and we want to thank everyone for listening, and we want to ask that you would please give us a rating and a review. 5 stars would really help us grow the show and help us reach a larger audience. And as always, we would ask that you would follow us on our socials, which will be posted, as always, in the show notes. So until next time, when we watch Training Day, we want to thank everybody for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Take it easy, everybody.
Peace.